Yo, what is up, guys, and welcome back to round number 3 of the F1 Esports World Championship in 2026. And we're heading out for first lap in Q1. Last time out we finished P10, got the fast lap as well, so we scored 2 points, but that's obviously far from ideal. If you want to win the championship, we got to be consistently at least top 4, top 3. So we got some work to do, and we got some ground to make up for, and that's what we're gonna try and do here in Bahrain today. Now, usually not got the greatest of qualifyings here, but our race usually goes quite well. So yeah, let's see what we can do. Overtaking not easy on this game, of course, and yeah, in Suzuka. That was a good example of how hard it is to overtake. We basically passed like 3 people, even though we were on far fresher tires. But Bahrain might be different again, of course. You got some long braking zones, which should help. But usually because everyone is in a DRS train, that makes it a little bit hard to go for a late lunge, as you will just simply drive into the car ahead of the car you're trying to overtake. So let's see how that all pans out. Maybe it's a little bit better on this game due to the gaps being better because of the dirty air. We'll have to wait and see, as we're just getting past the car there. It's got a little bit of a slower outlap. I think usually our outlaps are a little bit faster anyway compared to the rest of the grid. So yeah, we got our co-op teammate right ahead of us, trying to get final bit of temperature in our tires before we start the lap. And yeah, just as per usual, we're gonna try and make it through into Q2 on a single set of tires. Take a wide line to start the lap, carry as much speed as possible into turn 1, and open the DRS. You can see that inside line still works. You see everyone go close up to the pit wall. And that's just because there's less bottoming there if you drive over that painted area. So that's why you see everyone do that. And that's why you sometimes see us drive weird lines anyway, in qualifying but also in the race, because it's just faster. And yeah, that's why we're just half off the track sometimes. But obviously you gotta stay within the white lines. At least one tire has to touch the white line. Thus far, not too bad of a lap, although there's a lot of corners you can make up a lot of time by nailing it, and that left-hander was not nailing it. A lot of understeer on the entry, a little bit of a micro lock-up, and our teammate Freddie Rasmussen goes to provisional P1 with a 25.835. We're gonna try and beat that, of course. We need to be at least in the top 4, top 5 usually to safely get into Q2. We do a 104.607 split into the last sector. And this final corner, once again, you can make up so much time here. Braking late, carrying a lot of speed, and it's still a reasonably long exit, so that's important as well. Up to the line we go. It's a 126.006, and that is P7. And yeah, that means we're going to be on the cusp of making it or not making it. But as you can see, we had to go out again. And we're nearly 2 times up actually through there, and that means we can just take it easy into the last corner and through the final corner. We will make it through, even if we lose half a tenth in this final corner, which we actually do. As you can see there, we lost half a tenth, but it won't matter too much because yeah, with that 110 improvement, we jump up to P6. And yeah, unfortunately, we had to use an extra set of tires, but that's just how it goes. Usually the final run in Q3 is the only one that matters anyway. So yeah, it's just that first new set of tires lap in Q3. It just gives you a little bit of a feeling for new tires, of course. Especially on this track, driving on used tires is so far off the pace because of all the slow speed corners and the heavy traction zones. This is our first new tire run in Q2. I didn't do a used set of tires run, as my PC crashed at the start of Q2, so there was no time for that. But here we go then. We're P11 at the moment actually, so for this final run, we're gonna need something. We're gonna have to gain some time. Through turn 1 we go. Not really an improvement. It's 1,500 down. Delta is always a little bit off, so it's a little bit hard to say if we're down or up when it comes down to small margins. But into the next right-hander we go, and that was a good gain. There's 300s. If we gain 300s for every corner, then by the end of the lap we're gonna be massively up. But that's easier said than done. Again, another 300-400s through the chicane, and unfortunately that was just very under the limit on the entry. Nonetheless, we didn't really lose too much time with that. See if we can gain something through the next left-hander. That was good again as well. Another 300, 400, 500 gain as we head into the second half of the lap. The next left-hander, very important to carry a lot of speed. Quite a big exit coming up. Lost a little bit of time there, but nothing too dramatic. We are going to have to improve a little bit more though through the final 2 corners if we want to make it into Q3. That was a good gain. Once again, 1.2 tens up as we head into the final corner. We cannot make any mistakes here because that will mean we're not making it through into the final corner we go, and we missed the apex a little bit. That's going to cost us on the exit. 110 improvement as we're going to cross the line, and it is only P11. And out of Q2 we go. P12 in the end. Someone else jumped us, and that is not ideal, of course. Yeah, as you can see there, 4.300s away from Thomas Runner in P10, and our teammate Freddy Rasmussen in P1. He ended up in P6 in Q3 though. I think we were lacking a little bit of pace around this track. Ismail Fassi in P1, Otis Lawrence P2, Nicolas Longe P3, Thomas Runner P4, Ola Zuzilder in P5, our teammate Freddy Rasmussen in P6 with the exact same lap time as Ruben Pedreno in P7 actually. So yeah, not ideal. I think we're lacking a little bit of pace around here, but that doesn't mean much for the race though. So onto the race we go then. As you can see, a lot of medium runners. Once again, undercuts will be the favorable strategy, especially on Bahrain. Usually the medium hard strategy is the one to be on. And yeah, that's why, once again, you see a lot of people on mediums. You saw actually someone jump onto the softs there at the very end. That's how crucial track position once again is going to be. Long run into turn 1, of course, but we're going to have to do it from P12 on the grid with the hard tire. Quite a few medium runners around it as well. And off the line we go. And it's a good start on the hards. You can see we basically kept up with Duncan Hofland, who is on the medium compound. We're going to go around the outside into turn 1. It's 3 wide on my inside, so I gotta leave space. I gotta be careful as the cars ahead. There's some archie-bargy going on, and there's an incident. We have to avoid it. Cut through the gravel a little bit, and you can see Duncan Hofland's front left end plate straight away missing, and we've gained some position straight away off the line. We got Tamas Kal down our inside on the mediums, and we're not gonna win this battle, of course, but we cannot hand out the position straight away as well. You know, the hards are so much worse on this opening lap. As I've got a hard runner, I think so, down the inside. I kind of want to leave a little bit of space there just to help him. So we got a little bit of a cushion from Julian Klaffenbach, who's in P13. So we gained 1 position as there's a huge dive one behind us actually from Julian Klaffenbach. He's trying to make as many positions as possible in order to move up the grid on that medium compound tire. But yeah, you can see Tamas Kal just pulling away on those mediums straight away. These hards have absolutely no grip in the opening lap. But we've got to survive a little bit longer. Ideally we keep Julian Klaffenbach behind, but this is probably going to be a losing battle, and we probably will end up dropping down another position somewhere in the next lap. So opening lap, 1 position gained, even though we started on the hards, and that is huge for us. Now we just gotta play it a little bit patient in the next few laps, and then our time will come later on in this race. Into turn 1 we go. And yeah, now we need to try and get a good exit of this turn 2 in order to try and keep Julian Klaffenbach behind. Joris cruising in P13 as well on the mediums. And into turn 4 we're gonna try and keep Julian Klaffenbach behind, but he's gone deep. We set up the switchback, and we're gonna gain 2 positions here straight away again, up to P10. And every lap that we keep a medium runner behind. That's going to massively help us later on in this race, because once they box, we can try and jump into the DRS of Alfie Butcher, perhaps. That's the aim here. But once again, we got 3 medium runners behind us. So, yeah, let's see how long we can survive these medium runners. We got Tamashgal still behind us on those mediums. I think Julian Klafferbach will have some front wing damage from that incident. And Duncan Hovland ahead of us has front wing damage as well. Tamashgal goes down the inside. Little bit of a scent from him. He leaves us a space, and he will have more traction. We're not even going to fight this. We're just going to let him go. He's boxing at the end of lap 8, going for a huge undercut. Complete opposite strategy to us. And yeah, he's going to try and undercut into the top 5 probably. Duncan Hovland still ahead with that front wing damage. We need to close up this gap a little bit in case he boxes at the end of lap 9, which he doesn't. As you can see, he stays out with the front wing damage. A lot of more medium hard runners boxing though. And now you can see we've got a 1.9 second gap to Alfie Butcher to close into. He is behind more hard runners though, so that pace is going to be equal to us. They will have the same tires as us on the car. So we need to try and simply outpace them. Use all of the tires and ERS we have to close up to the gap ahead. You can see the car is on an absolute knife edge on the exit there. Not a lot of traction, but we just needed to carry some minimum speed through the corners. Little flick into the right hander. We've gained around 2 tenths so far this lap. And that is important. Make that 4 tenths as we head into the long left-hander. Obviously, Alfie Butcher a little bit into dirty air of Ulas Yildirim ahead. Now he will get DRS on the next straight again, so that is his advantage. And the bad news we've got right here is that Freddy Rasmussen, our teammate, is leading this train. Which means we're gonna need to be on top of our game in order to close this gap. Because he's going to be leading this train, he's going to be pulling this train along, and it will not be easy to keep up, but close in as well, you know. Lap 10, end of lap 10, more medium hard runners boxing. That is Ismail Fassi boxing together with Otis Lawrence. And we've closed in 6 tenths on this lap, but you can see our battery starting to wear down. Only 20%, 22% as we head through turn 1. So this lap is crucial for a race. This lap is a little bit of a do or die lap, because otherwise we're never gonna catch back up into the DRS. There's a Mercedes in the middle of that there. We're still out on mediums, and this is our chance to get back into the DRS. Ulas Yildirim and Alfie Butcher will slightly get slowed down through this middle sector, and that's the opportunity we need to get DRS and get DRS in this minute. You can see me adjust my line just to gain a few thousandths of a second and try and get the DRS, but unfortunately we missed it by the skin of our teeth, or I don't know what the saying is, but it's something like that. Yeah, I just tried to catch the DRS there, we missed it by 2 or 3 thousandths of a second, and now we should get it, but we're further away from Alfie than Alfie is to Ulas, so he will have more slipstream on the next straight. Gap is 8.2 tenths though. We are out of ERS, but finally we get into the DRS of Alfie Butcher. And I reckon we're not gonna get a lot of time to save back our battery, because Ulas Yildirim will get DRS here on this main straight, and he has to close the gap to Freddy Rasmussen ahead again. So yeah, we gotta keep pushing here, because these guys ahead are gonna be pushing to close the gap to Freddy, and it means I gotta keep pushing flat out. End of lap 16, we've regained some of our ERS, not much though. We had to push flat out to keep up non-stop. And end of lap 16, Alfie comes into the pits. End of lap 17, Freddy comes into the pits. I actually dropped out of DRS there in the end, because I had to go a lap extra to Freddy, and my tires were completely done from pushing non-stop in that second stint when all the medium runners had boxed, and we increased the gap to the car behind so much. Istvan Pukki was 1.5, 2 seconds behind when the mediumers boxed by the end of his stint. I think we're 5 seconds ahead. That's how fast that train was going with Freddy leading. So yeah, end of lap 18. We're gonna come into the pits for a fresh out of the mediums, and then it's 11 laps on the mediums. Not quite 11 qualifying laps. The tire wear is really high around here, and everyone will have to save some tires. We got Jake Benham, 4.3 seconds behind us. He went out in Q1, of course, so yeah, he's going to be fighting for a few points, not for the win. If we get a really good race here, then we might be fighting for a top 5, but it all depends on how our march through the field goes. And into the final sector we go. Rear tires are gone, as you can see there. A lot of corrections on the entry. And yeah, maximum attack
take you this lap
on the pit entry. We're gonna need every 10th of a second in this race. Our teammate Freddy Rasmussen, as you can see, in the bottom left is leading the hard-medium train. And there's quite a few gaps actually in that medium-hard train that might make overtaking a little bit easier for Freddy. He's gonna be the first to arrive, and honestly, at the time, he was so close to the medium-hard coming out of the pits. I was like, there is not a chance in this world that he's not gonna win this race, because the gap is only 2.9 seconds. His tires are a lap old. The tire advantage he has is 1.5, 2 seconds maybe. You know, he will catch back up to the train within a lap, and then he can pick them off one by one. Easy said and done, of course, because you have to do it clean. You have to be patient. You have to plan your moves, and that's what we're gonna have to do as well. We got Danny Bresnay on the mediums, unfortunately, ahead of us. He was in that incident on turn 2 on the opening lap, of course, so I think he had to box a little bit earlier because of damage. Same for Duncan Hovland. He's behind us, of course. He had to change his front wing. And yeah, we got Danny Bresnay ahead now. Now he's not going to let us through. He knows that he is a championship rival. He is fighting us in the championship, but we've got to get past. We are on new tires, they're a little bit cold, of course, but we have to go for it straight away. Otherwise, we're going to spend too much time behind other cars. We go around the outside, we understeer really early off the track, but we got so much more momentum around the outside. And up into P13 we go, we cover off the switchback. And now we're behind Tamas Gal. Remember, he boxed right ahead of us on the medium hards. We're going to save a little bit of battery. I thought Danny was going to go for ascent there. I think that was what he was planning. So we had to use a little bit of battery. And now we're going to go for the move straight away into turn 1. Use up all of our battery. We're actually trying to sneak down the inside here a little bit for a little bit of extra top speed with that line up to the pit wall. 1.6 seconds is the gap to John Evans right ahead. He qualified, I think, in P14 or P15, so 2 or 3 positions behind us. And yeah, it took us a lap to catch up. This train, the cars ahead of us were quite fast, of course. Julian Klavenbok and Joris Kruisen went quite long on that medium-hard strategy, I think so. So they were quite fast at this point. And now we're going to have to go for the move down the inside of John Evans. Again, these are championship rivals in the constructors, and they know it. So they're going to fight with everything they have to keep us behind. But we're going to go for a switchback here. On turn 10, I think it is. A little bit of a moment for John Evans. Lots of wheel spin. And up to P11 we go. And we're already 1 position up from where we started. So already better than our qualifying. And now we got 2 hard runners ahead of us. Our battery is starting to get a little bit empty though. And we got to be a little bit patient with our moves. We got to recharge our battery a little bit here. And then go for a move again. We got a fast lap as well. And that will give us an extra point if we finish in the top 10. Here we go then. Julian Klavenbok going for the move on Joris Kruisen. We're just recharging our battery a little bit here. DRS very powerful on that main straight. But because the mechanical grip is just quite low on this track, you struggle a lot with dirt here. And now we're going to go for the move on Joris Kruisen. He's not fighting this too hard. He knows our tires are much, much faster at this point. Now we just have to recharge our battery a little bit because we've been low basically this entire second stint so far. We didn't really need much apart from the move on Danny Bresnay and John Evans. And now we're going to go for the move on Julian Klaffenbach. This will be quite easy as Julian has no DRS. Up to P9 we go. So we got points. We have our teammates Freddie Rasmussen ahead of us. And the reason for that is because he got front wing damage in an incident at some point trying to cut through the field there. And yeah, that's going to be a difficult rest of the race. I think even with the front wing damage, he will be capable of scoring points. But the race when it's just not on, you can see how much time he's losing through this fast section with that front wing damage. There's an incident up ahead, and that's 2 cars out of the race. Up to P7 we go. Another incident behind. And yeah, that's actually Alfie Butcher and Ulla Zildrum who had an incident. For the people who want to watch the incident, you can watch it on the broadcast. There was quite a bit of lag involved in that incident, which yeah was just an issue in the first 2 events, as I said in the past few videos as well. And this was quite handy actually. Freddie fought Thomas quite hard here to make my moves easier, and from the outside you don't sometimes see that, but yeah, Freddie helped me massively here. Let us go. And by fighting Thomas, he just worn down his tires a little bit extra, and it just makes our move a little bit easier. Freddie knew that his race was pretty much over, and we're straight away gonna go for the move into the next right-hander. But we have to be patient. We've had a good race already. There's 4 laps to go. We gotta get moves on fast, of course, as our mediums will not be improving compared to the hards throughout the rest of the race. But we also cannot cause incidents. We gotta be smart about it. And sometimes count to 10 a few times in a race like this. And now we got some clean air on our front wing, and we got a huge run through that left-hander into the right. We set up the corner better, and down the inside we go up to P5. And now we're looking at a podium position potentially. 4 laps to go at the end of this one. If we overtake 1 person per lap, as we're trying to give some slipstream to our teammate there. If we overtake 1 person per lap, we're looking at a win. But that's easier said than done, of course, because all of these guys have been saving tires the whole race. They will be sitting on 100% battery. They haven't made no moves. They've just been playing it patient. So they have a lot of battery to play with. But you can see the grip we have on the front end as we head into turn 1. So much front end compared to the rest of the grid. Fresher tires, of course. But most likely we are going to be struggling on tires as well towards the end of this race. Just like the hard runners, to be honest. But relatively, we're only going to start losing more and more time tire-wise throughout this race. I think our tires will be faster, of course, throughout the rest of the race. But if we only have a 2:10 tire advantage in the last lap, we're not going to be able to overtake anyone with that. So, yeah. For now, we have to aim at getting past Ruben Pedreño. He has a bit of a gap ahead of him, so that could be an advantage to us. We can go for a little move for a late send down the inside, perhaps without running into the back of someone. Again, trying to set up this left-hander better, running a shorter distance, and then perhaps have a run into the next right-hander. But I just didn't quite get the run this time around. We have to sit back and wait for an opportunity into turn 1, perhaps. Gap ahead of Ruben Pedreño is quite big, so we are going to get a little bit of slipstream, slightly more than Ruben Pedreño into turn 1. The gap for him is around 7 tenths. The gap for us is 2.3 tenths. So we're going to have to go for it on this lap. Otherwise, the tires will not be good enough. You can see his rear light starts flashing, which means he's below 10%. We're going to break deep into turn 1. Little bit of contact on the entry. But around the outside, we got more momentum. We leave him the space on the exit, and up to P4 we go. And that is 13 points for us in this race so far. Now we have to recharge our battery though. And yeah, before we can make another move, we just have to recharge our battery. 2 laps to go. And as you can see, our battery is not completely full, but 58% at the moment. Decided to turn it off early. And the top 2 have started battling into turn 1. It's not that easy to get a free DRS pass into turn 1, and that's why these guys want to be leading onto the final lap, and that's why they're fighting. And Nicolas Longe, he knows that we're coming here on a fresh set of tires, or not fresh, but a faster set of tires and a full battery. He knows that if these two keep battling ahead, we're gonna have a huge run on him in the last lap, or maybe even faster. So he knows that we've got a chance here for a podium, and he knows he has to do something. The top two are going side by side again, and there's contact between them. These guys have run down their battery completely at this point, trying to keep track position, and now Longe is gonna go for the move into turn 11. We set up the switchback, there's contact, and we've got a little bit of clean air on our front wing. We get a better run through the next right-hander. It's 3 wide. We got the lift off on the dirty side of the track, but we get the move done into the second final corner. There's 1 lap to go, so we will not get any DRS on the main straight, but we still have a tire advantage. We have the battery to play with, and crucially, Otis Lawrence behind us does not have the battery after all that battling. We make sure we get a clean exit onto the final lap. The gap is only 3.1 tenths, but he will not have the battery to get a chance on us into turn 1. We're gonna cover off the inside slightly just in case of a late dive bomb, and that was crucial, as you can see there, because if we wouldn't, we would have been completely wiped out there into turn 1, and now it's complete mayhem behind, and we can just chill on this final lap, bring it home to the finish, and win this race, and bring home 26 points after going out in Q2. Crucial race in the championship after starting P12 and nearly having a race-ending incident there in turn 2 on the opening lap. Even on the last lap in turn 1 there, if we would have taken a normal racing line, we would have been completely wiped out there. And that's just the margins we're playing with. Such a small decision ended up having such a big result. And now we're gonna score 26 points and take the championship lead. As you can imagine, the heart rate was high on this one. Probably the most adrenaline I've ever had in an F1 Esports race, and probably one of my best drives. Obviously a little bit of luck involved, but that's what you need in races like that. We were probably the only driver on the grid who had a clean race, kept our nose clean, had no incidents, and we're gonna bring it home in P1. 26 points, 1.3 seconds is the gap, and that was a huge race for the championship. We take the championship lead in the drivers. We extend the championship lead in the constructors as well. Freddy in P9. Ismo Fassi got a penalty as well, so Nicolas Longe actually ended up in P2 there. Ismo Fassi, I think, dropped out of the points there in the end with that penalty. So yeah, actually Freddy had a last lap incident because he had no front wing, and that's how chaotic this race was. Freddy ended up with no front wing and he still got points. That's how truly insane it was. So yeah, probably the most insane race of my life. So many incidents we had to avoid, and so many times we had to count to 10, be patient with the moves, and yeah, it paid off in the end. Last year we were not patient. We could have won the race and we ended up without points, just because of a few small decisions that just had a big impact, and we saw that again today. It's crucial to keep your head calm, but also not too calm. You gotta make the moves at the right time. You gotta make them fast, but you can also not get into incidents. It's a huge balancing act, and we played it just perfectly today. So, hope you guys enjoyed this P12 to P1 challenge in F1 Esports. Make sure to like and subscribe, and see you guys next time. Ciao.